Yeah, because I think that's really important.
Welcome to our Win Together series. Today we have Jenny Hui, who is one of our recipients for our Pegasus Award. I've known Jenny also for a while. I think we've co-broke on a case for Marina One before.
Yeah.
So Jenny has joined us actually for a very short while only, and she has achieved a Pegasus Award, which is actually very inspiring. You have been in the luxury market for a very long time.
Yeah.
So on that part of your corporate life that you had before, were there any things that you actually brought forward such that it comes in practice in real estate when you are actually doing your practice?
Right. I think basically in my previous trade, I have really dealt with the high-end profile, clientele, and
you mentioned,
and I was doing brand management.
Correct.
So we do a lot and we think a lot on how can we provide constantly the best service, the best experience. How can we always outbid our competition, basically on why they should spend with us and not another brand. So I think that's a constant pursuit in terms of excellence, in terms of having that autonomy. I guess that culture has made me what I am today. Even though after I left the trade and coming here, I think that corporate journey has turned me into a person that is probably suitable for what I'm doing right now.
That's nice.
That was able to help me a lot as I start really from scratch, just a few years back. Yeah.
After you stepped out, do you get a lot of referrals coming from where you were before?
Actually, no.
Not really.
I think when I decided to move out of my industry, real estate was something I did before, actually, about like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That was very long, where we don't need any license.
Yeah.
But it's something that has always stayed with me, and I knew I would be coming back, but I didn't think it would be now. I always think it's a retirement job for me. but I think when I decided to actually come back to the trade, I thought maybe I would just try it out on my own and try all segments, and not really having to call each and every of my contact that I used to know, and try it out on my own. Yeah.
A lot of realtors out there always have this issue of not having enough referrals. So they are always trying to generate cold leads. They are trying to get new clients in their repertoire, instead of focusing on the people that they already know and the things that they have done.
Right.
So is there any tips that you can give them?
I think basically for me, I think when I take on every single case, I really want to make sure that it is my personal best. Whether is it a rental of a room rental, a HDB rental, or a landed rental, or even a sale and whatsoever. I think every time when somebody comes to me with a business per se, I truly go all out. I mean, I put the dollar sign aside, and I really go all out to get the business done. So I guess in that journey, if it's rental, typically I have been challenged before. I've been challenged by a high net worth now to handle a luxury rental, and the owner was so meticulous, was so thorough with her hunt for the right agent to represent her. She did a search about me before, because I was being referred. Actually, I was being referred again by a contact who is not my client, but just a contact, and she really did a thorough search to see if I'm suitable to represent her unit.
Wait, a background search?
No, actually on PG, and then she she did like she went to PG to search what kind of listing I have,
right,
to see if I have the right profile, because she only hear, she doesn't really know. Then she actually asked for an interview.
Right.
And to be very honest, sometimes it's like a rental. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, there is not a small rental, but it's not that big a rental. But it's like, okay, I might take it since it's referral. All the more times 200 energy, I must go and conquer it.
So you do have a very strong conviction when it comes that a person actually refers you.
Yeah, because I think that's really important.
Right.
And I mean, because I value that a lot, and so every time, especially if it's a referral, it really doesn't matter what kind of business they are referring me, but I want to live up to the expectation of my referral.
For agents who have been dealing with too much of cold leads altogether at the same time, this is a very good way to start and embark, because I realize that it's not easy to bring out that kind of pride, especially when it comes to whatever referrals that comes your way. No matter how small or how big a deal, I will do it because it makes perfect sense. There's someone who's banking on this thing for me, so I need to do it well.
Yeah.
So that's quite a good inspiration in essence. I feel.
I think it's really about constantly thinking how I can be different, especially when I was a newbie. I mean, I got my license in 2018, so
That's not a newbie anymore.
yeah, I mean then
Okay.
when I was a newbie,
Right.
I really have to think very hard how to differentiate myself, and so it was very brain wracking. And I'm not gonna fall back. Let's say I'm not gonna be calling everybody, hey, give me business. But with each business that I have, each client that I have, what can I really do to make them see that I'm different?
Right.
So I think it all boils down to really the first impression would really be, if today you say, Jenny, do you do I want to see this house for rental?
Right.
I guess maybe it's a very simple request, but then I will even start off with a lot of research and put out in a nice Excel spreadsheet and blah blah, and then present it forward.
Right.
It has shown me a lot of success in that sense. I suddenly wrote into a corporate tenancy because
And because you are meticulous.
yeah, I mean that's because I wanted to be different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
dare to
think
be
it
different
was,
also as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
it makes sense. It makes perfect sense because that when you give your 200 to 300%, right, you don't let off any details when it comes to any of the cases that you do. So this is something where at the end of the day that really makes you a cut above the rest also as well. It must be like that. Otherwise, people don't refer cases to you. It's not that easy also as well. So that's the reason why I say it's an inspiration.
Right.
So that value system, it would be something that's aligned with our tagline as well, dare to be different. So in which I feel that it's something that aspires all the agents to, whenever they step up to meet someone, they would try to stand out among the peers to get their business and to make sure that they do something differently such that they basically impress the client. So I think this is a very good value that you have for sure. Yeah, and I also do remember, like just recently also as well, you closed the shop house, and the questions that you asked also, you keep calling me. So during that period of time, on the things that was in terms of conditions and stuff like that, I can see that you really go way and beyond for both the vendor and both the purchaser as well. Yeah. It was not easy because looking at how you have brokered that shop house, I feel like, wow, how come so many extra different clauses that is over there, right? That the vendor agrees and the purchaser is actually getting all these things out, right? And how you actually manage to broker this thing. So it was very interesting and also at the same time it shows me how flexible you are also as well when it comes to all this deal making in general.
Yeah.
So I feel that in this instance, do you have also any tips for those aspiring elites who actually is thinking of making their first Pegasus or anything else? Do you have anything for them that can let them take away from here?
I think basically keeping a very positive attitude is very, very important in the pursuit. I mean, what you mentioned about this case was primarily because I've always worked in a win-win situation. I mean, my years of work, we have always tried to work with this win-win mindset. So even if I'm into deep negotiation previously, I would need to think how you can win in order that I can win. And so when it comes to work now, even if I'm representing vendor, I need to think on behalf of the buyer, how to win them so that I can also win my vendor. So even though you see the terms that way and you think it a bit weird, but I think because the thought through, I would like to think that keep always bearing in mind that this win-win is so easy to say, and then we always say all the time, we hear our whole lifetime.
But in your thought process, do you actually have the end in mind first before you actually work backwards?
Yes.
Okay, then that makes sense.
Yeah, I always work from bottom up, meaning
Yeah.
I know my objective, I know my destination, and then I've got to crawl backward in order to target the different the buyer, the seller.
That makes perfect sense. Otherwise, you will lose your thought process also as well, because if you don't work towards the objective towards the end, right, then you will miss out a lot of things along the way.
Correct.
Yeah, so it makes a lot of sense.
So I think in any cases that we are working on, positivity is probably very, very important, because definitely, if you look at the case itself, it wasn't as...
It's very bleaky.
It seems funny. The whole contract seems funny.
It's not normal.
But then you see, staying positive about how this deal can transform, do put you in the position to really manage the whole thing, to have a beautiful ending in the whole process.
Positivity is another thing that I suppose is very important. In our industry, especially when it comes to work also, I suppose at the end of the day, where many of us usually see the cases as being bleak at the end of the day, another realtor probably would see it as, oh, this is something, it's challenging, but I probably can close it, or I probably can broker this deal. And that person will stand out as compared to the rest of the others. So apart, this is a challenge, step up, and you dare to be different. You dare to actually embrace the case to do it. Otherwise, I think not many realtors would actually embrace the case. I'm quite certain about this thing. So do you have, okay, the last but not the least, okay, let's ask you, do you have any other, do you have any quotes that inspires you?
I've always think, love what you do what you love is very, very, very important.
See, when I ask you this question, it comes out naturally, right? So that means she's really very passionate about what she's doing. So this marks the traits of a strong producer. So I hope that everybody has something to take away from here. I think this is really a very, very good session. So we thank Jenny for her time, for sharing, and we hope to see you again very soon. Okay?
Hope so.
So see you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.